A lot of times we have seen that the toe walking in children is a matter of two different things. One is that the child is trying to avoid the touch, right? So he goes on toes because if he's on the heel, and bigger area of the sole comes in contact with the floor, which the child doesn't want to, because the child is sensitive to touch. The child goes on toes so that only small area is in contact with the floor. So that is one of the reason that we see in children going on toes. The other reason that you see in children is, and these are children who are looking for pressure, these are children who are looking, maybe they are someone who are looking for tightening of the body and all. What they do is they go on the toes, because when you go on the toes, the entire body weight presses your toes. So when the entire body weight presses your toes, there's a lot of pressure that comes on the toes, and the child is actually liking it. So uh, and that is why we'll have to figure out whether this is because of uh, reason one, which is avoiding touch, or this is because of reason two, which is putting pressure on the toes. There could be one more reason, which is even more common. When you consult a medical professional, they typically tell you that probably the heel muscle is tight. It's a physical dysfunction. What happens a lot of times in young children is children start to do toe walking for sensory reason, but later on, because the child has been maintaining that position for a long time, for years probably, the physical part or physical dysfunction happens secondary or later on. It wasn't there, the physical dysfunction wasn't there, but then it happens because of the sensory reason. And that is why, if there are three reasons for it, you can't have one solution for three reasons. We'll have to figure out what the correct reason here is, because in one of the reasons you will have to put the child on a tactile program. On the other reason, you'll have to put the child on a proprioceptive program. And in the third reason, it's a physical aspect. You'll have to give the child some physical activities. So the treatment is three different treatments are there depending on what the underlying reason is. But you'll have to probably figure out a little bit yourself. For example, when the child is bare feet, does he go on toes, or does he go on toes only when the child is wearing a shoe? When the child is on the floor without any carpet and is bare feet, does he go on toes? If yes, does he also go on toes when he's walking on a carpeted floor? A lot of times you will see that when the child is on the carpet, he's fine. As soon as he steps out of the carpet, he goes on toes, which means he may not be liking the temperature of the floor, which is the fourth reason now. Because in the weather like this, which we have now in India, the floor is very any floor in your house, especially in northern parts of the country, is too cold. So what the child does is the child tries to avoid the temperature of the floor by going on toes, and he's absolutely fine when he's on a carpet or on a covered area. Now if that is happening, you know that the child is doing it for temperature reasons, and then you have the solution in front of you. There's another child who goes in the washroom and he avoids the the water surface, because when even for us, when we walk on a water surface or wet washroom surface, even we would like to avoid that touch. Usually people either go on toes when they are in the washroom without any shoes or footwear. They go on the toes. Similarly, the child can go on toes in other surfaces as well. So have a look at it. If the child is trying to avoid some touch, just be supportive for the child. So if you are avoiding a wet washroom surface in the washroom, similarly the child is avoiding some tactile surface in the normal day to day, give him some comfortable shoes, footwear, so that he's more comfortable keeping his heels down. Otherwise, we'll have to do some kind of a little bit of evaluation along with the OT evaluation to see what the child is why the child is doing as an underlying reason, and then the treatment will be according.